Had I the heavens embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths, of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams. Hello and welcome to this Oak Tree English poetry reading. This time it's a tribute to W.B. Yeats. William Butler Yeats was born on the 13th of June, the date of this video's release, 1865 in Sandymount, Ireland. The poem you've just heard is probably his best known and beloved, called He Wishes for the Cloths of Heaven. The spelling of he, A-E-D-H, is not a typo, but rather reflects the Irish heritage of this impressive poet. He celebrates his love of natural Ireland in his poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree. Innisfree is a real place. It's a small, uninhabited island in Lough Gill in his beloved County Sligo, where he used to go for childhood holidays. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning, to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavements grey. I hear it in the deep heart's core. I recently had someone subscribe to my channel from an Indian university. I'm deeply honoured by that, but it reminded me that not everyone shares my heritage and history. Therefore, I fear I must touch on a sensitive issue. When I was growing up, the term terrorism was nearly synonymous with Irish. The brief history is shameful on every side, and therefore I'm going to do it very, very quickly. It's shameful starting with the English who conquered Ireland and treated the Irish shamefully. Unsurprisingly, they left the empire as soon as they could with a war that started in 1916. Yeats also wrote a poem about this called Easter 1916. The UK retained Northern Ireland, and two sides arose. The Republicans, who wanted to be part of the Republic of Ireland and represented by the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, and the Unionists, who wished to remain part of the United Kingdom. These factions have been battling for over 100 years with shameful tactics employed on both sides. The sectarian lines are sometimes erroneously drawn along Catholic and Protestant divisions, but this is entirely nominal and has no theological basis, as both traditions respect the Bible, which clearly teaches against murder. Now that we understand that potted history, we can introduce Maude Gonne. She was the unrequited love of his life, due to them falling on either sides of the sectarian lines. She was an ardent Republican activist who eventually converted to Catholicism. She even married one of the chaps who was executed in 1916 because of the Easter Uprising. Yeats was not particularly fond of him. Yeats, however, was a Protestant. He was also a nationalist, but he was a Protestant nationalist. He proposed to her at least 4 times to no avail. And to her he wrote some of his most beautiful poems. In fact, to my mind, some of the most beautiful words in the English language, including the following. When you are old. When you are old and grey and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book, and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true? But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. Yeats became involved in the founding of the National Theatre of Ireland, also known as the Abbey Theatre, with his friend Lady Isabella Gregory of Coole Park. Lady Gregory had a golden-haired granddaughter, about whom Yeats wrote the following. For Anne Gregory. Never shall a young man, thrown into despair by those great honey-coloured ramparts at your ear, love you for yourself alone, and not your yellow hair. But I can get a hair dye and set such colour there, brown or black or carrot, that young men in despair may love me for myself alone, and not my yellow hair. I heard an old religious man but yesternight declare that he had found a text to prove that only God, my dear, could love you for yourself alone, and not your yellow hair. Yeats eventually married, at the age of 51, a lady less than half his age, Georgie Hyde Leese. It was quite a happy marriage, and they went on to have 2 children, even though he went on to have a range of affairs. He also won the 1923 Nobel Prize for Literature. He died at the Hôtel Ideal Séjour in Menton, France, on 28th of January 1939, aged 73. In 1948, Yeats' body was moved to the churchyard of St Columba's Church, Drumcliff, County Sligo, where it bears the epitaph from his final poem, Under Ben Bulben. Swear by what the sages spoke round the Meretic lake, that the witch of Atlas knew, spoke and set the cocks a-crow. Swear by those horsemen, by those women, complexion and form prove superhuman, that pale, long-visaged company that heirs an immortality, completeness of their passions won. Now they ride the wintry dawn, where Ben Bulben sets the scene. Here's the gist of what they mean. Many times man lives and dies between his 2 eternities, that of race and that of soul, and ancient Ireland knew it all. Whether man dies in his bed, or the rifle knocks him dead, a brief parting from those dear is the worst man has to fear. Though grave-diggers' toil is long, sharp their spades, their muscles strong, they but thrust their buried men back in the human mind again. You that Mitchell's prayer have heard, send war in our time, O Lord, know that when all words are said, and a man is fighting mad, something drops from eyes long blind. He completes his partial mind, for an instant stands at ease, laughs aloud, his heart at peace. Even the wisest man grows tense with some sort of violence before he can accomplish fate, know his work, or choose his mate. Poet and sculptor do the work, nor let the modish painter shirk what his great forefathers did. Bring the soul of man to God, make him fill the cradles right. Measurement began our might, forms a stark Egyptian thought, forms that gentler Phidias wrought. Michelangelo left a proof on the Sistine Chapel roof, where but half-awakened Adam can disturb globe-trotting madam, till her bowels are in heat, proof that there's a purpose set, before the secret working mind, profane perfection of mankind. Quattrocento put in paint, on backgrounds for God or saint, gardens where souls at ease, where everything that meets the eye, flowers and grass and cloudless sky, resemble forms that are or seem when sleepers wake and yet still dream, and when it's vanished still declare, with only bed and bedstead there, that heavens had opened. Gyres run on when that greater dream had gone. Calvert and Wilson, Blake and Claude prepared a rest for the people of God. Palmer's phrase, but after that, confusion fell upon our thought. Irish poets, learn your trade, sing whatever is well made. Scorn the sort now growing up, all out of shape from toe to top. Their unremembering hearts and heads, base-born products of base beds. Sing the peasantry, and then hard-riding country gentlemen, the holiness of monks, and after porter drinkers, randy laughter. Sing the lords and ladies gay that were beaten into the clay through 7 heroic centuries. Cast your mind on other days, that we in coming days may be still the indomitable Irishry. Under bare Ben Bulben's head, in Drumcliff churchyard, Yeats is laid. An ancestor was rector there. Long years ago, a church stands near, by the road an ancient cross. No marble, no conventional phrase, on limestone quarried near the spot. By his command these words are cut. Cast a cold eye on life, on death. Horsemen, pass by. Thank you for joining me for this whistle-stop tour of W.B. Yeats' eventful life. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will join me again for another Oak Tree English poetry reading. Goodbye.